Hello guys and welcome to SHOYOUCAN, and this video is going to be a little different from our typical broadcast, what we normally put out there. Normally I kind of do vids based on like technique guides, character bios, or even gameplay footage, and they're more scripted. This one's going to be me kind of just talking and giving my thoughts on something, just really going with the flow and really straight from my head. So forgive me for any mess ups or screw ups or anything if I get a little sidetracked, because again, like I said, this is not scripted. But I really wanted to get my thoughts out on the big news that came out of Capcom recently. And yes, if you've been living underneath a rock, the news is Street Fighter 6 has been officially announced. Now, I know it feels kind of weird. While it's exciting and people were happy, it definitely wasn't as exciting as it could be. And I feel because for the longest time, a lot of us kind of knew Street Fighter 6 was coming. I mean, Street Fighter is one of Capcom's darling franchises. It's been around forever. So it kind of went hand in hand that there would be a 6 after a 5. You know, especially considering 5, albeit when it started, was really rough and bare bones and didn't really do much of anything, but they definitely turned the corner as it progressed, and towards the end became a really respectable fighter. And it definitely made Capcom a decent amount of money between the microtransactions and just the overall sales numbers. So going by those two figures, you kind of figured that yes, they are going to do a Street Fighter 6. And then there was also a massive data breach about a couple months ago, might have been a year ago, I forget, I lost all track of time. But there was a massive data breach at Capcom where some of their files were leaked, and we kind of got insight into what they were going to release into the future. I'm still not sure if all that stuff's correct. Power Stone, I please hope it is, but Street Fighter 6 was one of the games that was listed as something that was going to be coming out. So with all that, we kind of knew that this was going to happen. This was like the worst kept secret. But yeah, the trailer released, and or not trailer, but it's kind of like a little teaser, and I want to give my thoughts on it. Thoughts on the whole process, thoughts on the game, and something different than, you know, Ryu's bulge or the size of his chest and arms, or even Luke's weird, crazy smile. Street Fighter 6 is finally coming out, and as I said, that is really exciting. Happy. I am a big Street Fighter fan. If you've been following my videos on this channel and things I talk about, I mean, I generally talk about Capcom stuff, but Street Fighter is definitely my bread and butter as well. It is my favorite franchise, favorite game, everything. In fact, it probably was like the very first game I actually like played and remembered, as opposed to me playing something else. So yeah, so as I say, I'm pretty excited this is happening. But you know, we had Street Fighter 5, which is currently still out, but it's pretty much on the end, right? And I definitely would like this game to be a little different from 5, right? Now I'll be honest, Street Fighter 5 it's very mixed for me, as I think it's mixed for everybody. You know, it's either you love it or you hate it, right? It's tough to be in between or in the middle. I definitely think Street Fighter 5 actually did a lot right. They definitely got a lot wrong. Don't get me started. I mean, this is the very first Street Fighter game that I didn't buy, you know, day one out the box. I usually buy all those Street Fighter games right away, right? This, between hearing all the news about the lack of modes and pretty much always fighting online, I waited till this game was about $20, then purchased it, which is very rare for myself. But still, with that being said, when they fixed 5, there was a lot they definitely did get right. You know, I like how 5 looks. Graphically, looks pretty amazing, especially when you really zoom in and look at it. I like things like the sound effects, the combos, the stages, the music. Like there was a lot that I think 5 did get right, which puts it in a strange kind of light for me. You know, don't necessarily hate it, but don't also love it. So naturally you would think, okay, Street Fighter 6 is going to be different, because one thing that Capcom does that I do really appreciate, and is that they their direct sequels, they tend to make them different. Alright, meaning, like, I know back in the day you had Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2, and they were just kind of like updates, really, right? Just incremental changes, nothing really major or big. You didn't have a whole new interface, a bunch of new characters, new moves. You know, it wasn't until Super Street Fighter 2 where we finally got 4 new characters. But even though we got those 4 new characters, the overall game was the same, right? Same story, same stages, same music, just, you know, remixed or arranged. So it was still the same game. It was essentially just an updated version. So, but when Capcom went ahead and then did the Alpha series, that was a complete shift, right? We had a completely new art direction. You know, we had better sprites, better looking character designs, bigger designs, and it was more of like an anime-ish looking design. And then we had more supers, more moves. It just was a completely different game. And then so forth with Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 4, you get the picture. Each direct sequel has been improved and changed upon. So naturally, we figured this is what's going to happen with 6, right? 6 is going to play and look, I don't want to say vastly different from 5, but it's definitely going to be different, right? And I'm hoping it is. I want it to be that when I look at Street Fighter 6, I clearly see, okay, this is the next one. This is 6. This isn't 5. I don't want to, at any point, you know, misconstrue or confuse it, because then to me they haven't done their job, right? Their job is to make you or make me completely forget about Street Fighter 4. I mean, well, not 4, well, really you can say 4, but Street Fighter 5, right? The whole point is to make me completely forget about it. And that is, as great as 5 looks, one of the things I don't like is that when you actually get, you know, you're far enough and you're far back and you look at the screen, Street Fighter 4 and 5 look the same. Like Street Fighter, it always has the same setup, right? 2 characters on screen fighting each other, and naturally that's in Street Fighter, you can't change that. But I do hope that 6 just visually stands out. You know, graphically it looks like it already. I mean, I'm hearing rumors that those pretty much are in-game graphics, and it's going to be using the RE engine, so I definitely would believe it. So yes, graphically it does look great. You know, hopefully, of course, the character models, you know, also look great, because just because you have amazing graphics doesn't mean, you know, characters will look awesome. I mean, look at Street Fighter 5 and Ken, right? But yeah, visually, again, I hope it looks great. But then, you know, also play style, you know, and I know some people wanted to go back to the way of, like, you know, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 4, like the simplistic way of fighting, and that's great, and I definitely get that argument. You know, Street Fighter 2 was definitely near and dear to all of our hearts. If you're a fighting game fan, you've played and heard of Street Fighter 2. But I just think that they have to do something a little different, right? And I don't mean like, you know, suddenly make Street Fighter a 3D fighter, make it play like Tekken where you can sidestep and roll around the arena. No, but they've just got to make it just not just visually stand out, but also mechanically stand out, right? I definitely would love to see new moves for a change. Definitely new looks, and that to me, that's number one. Number one, I want to see new looks, right? I'm happy that from that little teaser we saw, Ryu has the hot Ryu motif, right? He has the bearded look with no gi. I definitely like it, because I think everyone agrees that should have been his default costume from the start. But so I definitely want to see new looks for a lot of the characters. I want to see a progression, right? I want to see them actually looking like they're moved along, like some time has passed. And that's another thing. I'm hoping that eventually, finally, we have moved past Street Fighter 3, right? Because the hardest thing is that they've always just stuck to everything being before Street Fighter 3. So now I'm hoping they finally have taken that step and said, nope, this is after 3. Something meaningful, you know. But yeah, I want to see some changes. You know, hopefully we see Ken really training Sean, do more with that. Again, Ryu becoming more of a master. You know, Chun-Li working with her students, you know, really delving into that school. And then also, you know, looking at some of the other characters that we don't see in 3, like what would Guile be doing or Cammy be doing. Like, I want to see real growth. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to visually change the characters. So definitely that's number one. Number two is the moves. I definitely want to see new moves. You know, new combos. Hell, new supers would be awesome. Definitely want to see, you know, just have fun with it. Like I remember when Street Fighter 5, the demo for it, or at least not the demo, but the first teaser they showed gameplay, and I remember it looked like you could do air combos for a little brief moment, and I mean, to me, I found that exciting. I was like, oh, cool. They're actually gonna, you know, kind of explore and go beyond what Street Fighter normally is. They're gonna add other elements to it. So I definitely would like for them to do that with 5. Maybe have some background mechanics. I don't know, but definitely that. And it's really just bring back some of the feel of Street Fighter 2. I know I said don't want it to be like Street Fighter 2, and I definitely mean that from a visual and mechanical standpoint, but just also just the feel, though, I do miss, of how like characters had stages, their stages had themes, and you would attach that to those characters, you know. I know just from, you know, from a hardware perspective, it saves up space when you just have characters fight wherever, and you don't have to create, you know, 30-40 stages for every character, because these games are going to have like 30-40 characters. But still, I miss that it gave a personable feeling. So when you fought at Chun-Li's stage and you heard her song, boom, I know I'm fighting Chun-Li. You go to Guile, the Air Force Base, you hear that theme, boom, I know I'm fighting Guile. And it really added another layer and element and made you feel closer to the characters. So I do hope they bring something back like that. Then of course there's the big elephant in the room. It looks like Ryu's no longer going to be the main character, and it will be, unfortunately, Luke. We'll see how that goes, because remember they did try this before with Street Fighter 3 when Alex was supposed to be the new poster boy, and that failed miserably, and they went back to Ryu being the poster boy. And well, it's gonna happen again. Ryu, he's always going to be Mr. Street Fighter, right? He will always be the guy. So I definitely think they will do that again. If anything, it might just be a shared leading role, leadership, a shared lead role. Like, you know, Ryu will be the main character, but so will Luke. So I definitely think they may go that route, but look, I'm definitely excited. You know, I know the logo sucks, and I agree wholeheartedly. It looks super just esportsy and cheap, and just come on. I'm hoping it's a placeholder. Bring back the creative, stylistic fonts, please. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I am. I just hope we can get some footage soon. I know they said June. I'm hoping that maybe somewhere along the lines, like around April or something might leak. But I can't wait, man. I'm a big Street Fighter fan, and I am so excited. So I just want to kind of record that video to get my thoughts out there. Hopefully you guys are excited too. And then also the Capcom Fighting Game Collection looks fantastic. Cannot wait for that as well. All those Darkstalker games, Red Earth, Pocket Fighter, which is one of my favorite games. Cannot wait for that. And I hope in the future Capcom can somehow do a 3D fighting game collection, so we get things like Power Stone, Star Gladiator, Plasma Sword, Rival Schools, Techromancer. Oh man, it's such a great franchise, such a great company with so many franchises, man. Just please, do them all, please. So happy about that. Again, just want to get my thoughts out on Street Fighter 6. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and also let me know what you think about Street Fighter 6 and also the Capcom Fighting Game Collection, and then going forward, what else that Capcom can do. Alright, so with that being said, everyone, please take care and have a wonderful rest of your day.